My beloved Zara and I are in the journalism industry, and since we are among the youngest employees of the company, or you could say at the bottom of the food chain, all the hardest and dirtiest work is ours. By dirty work, we mean constant business trips to the most uninteresting places. Zara and I, if we take together, have traveled almost the whole country and all the neighboring countries. Once she and I became close on one of these trips. There's not much romantic about it, really. It's the cheapest tickets and the cheapest lodgings. That's how it is for beginners. But I would still call our company a real incubator of future journalists with a capital letter. Our publication is interested in almost everything, and even a little bit more. For example, I travel, spending several working days, just to see if someone knows about something or not. I once spent a week just not finding the person. And our budget for newcomers is so tight that we just had to sleep with my future spouse in some room with one bed. That's how we bonded. That night, as if behind the constant hustle and bustle and the race to earn points, we suddenly discovered an incredible enjoyment of each other. We two hunted dogs were so much alike, it was amazing. I was encouraged when Zara came into my life. We rarely found ourselves on the same business trips afterward, so we looked forward to seeing each other. And there were long trips, and when I arrived, she was away. It was like we were chasing each other all the time. It would be quicker to solve this problem so we could get back sooner. As you can imagine, we didn't earn much money. Almost all my money went to housing and food. But we saw how our old colleagues lived, especially those who got the most privileged trips, often even business class. How they knew how to stir people's minds with their lyrics. They could walk through any door and knew their way around anyone. I think their work went far beyond journalism. That's what Zara and I aspired to and dreamed of together. But now, it was not to say that it was bad, but very limited in everything. And most importantly, we had almost no personal time. As strange as it may sound, it was incredibly difficult to get to these almost slave-like jobs. Anyway, we lived on faith in an inevitably successful future. If you want to move in with me, it was a bit of a difficult proposition from Zara because she lived in the same room with her mother. They had only recently moved to this big city from a small village, only for this job, to which Zara was invited after noticing her aptitude for journalism. But I still think it's more due to the small demands of a provincial girl. Like with me, I'm not so much after money as I am a bright future. It's not like you're cramped up there with your mom. I politely declined. But I wanted to be closer to Zara. I had already been to Zara's house before now. She was very shy, of course, but I was determined. And I really didn't care how poor her life was. I really wanted to tell her mom how amazing her daughter was. One thing I didn't realize was that her mother, Eva, was an equally amazing woman. I remember the first time I met her, I was surprised she didn't have a man. Such a good woman. I made a decision to find one for her. It's probably due to her excessive modesty. Though Zara was very much like her in that, such a fragile little bunny. Only it was such a brave bunny. We became a family very quickly, and at some point there were no doubts, and I somehow one day just moved in with my family. Of course there were some inconveniences, but I think the three of us were so used to the inconveniences. Somehow we gradually got used to some things that happened by accident. Well, yes, those awkward situations when you forget to close the door in the bathroom and the mother-in-law comes in. Well, or when you see her breasts and she sleeps, well, it happens. Anyway, in the end, I think we've gotten to know each other's bodies. And I don't think we were shy anymore. You think it's easy to be shy all the time. It's very stressful in the end. And in my mind, home is where I want to be free. And also this situation when you cannot stop already, when you lie at night and hug your hot bunny, which is also exhausted from desire. And you lie there very quietly, all wet, listening to Zara hold back from moaning. And something tells me that my mother-in-law is lying so close that she hears and even feels everything. It was very embarrassing at first, but over time we justified ourselves that it was natural. We kept our modesty, of course, but we became bolder because, well, we don't see each other very often. We're young and hot. And then one day when Zara wasn't around, I decided to have a conversation. My perfectionism was getting the better of me and I wanted to calm it down. Ava, of course you hear everything, but you realize that there is no other way. It's our nature. I tried to use my journalistic experience. What are you talking about, Basil? Of course I understand. I wasn't young. Yes, I was so worried that it was making you uncomfortable. I went on, wanting to make sure everything was okay. You love my daughter. I love her. So we have the same interests. This sounded very convincing and gave me confidence. I was much more confident the next time. It was like I had support now. Zara was a little surprised that I moved a lot more boldly that night. But what I liked about her was that she always lost her head as soon as we got close and became completely driven. You were so hungry tonight, Zara told me that morning. I talked to your mom. She said she loves you, and now here I am loving you. It's okay. Zara looked at me intently and then came over and hugged me, letting me know she was all mine. From that day on, Zara's breathing at night became a little more audible, but so much so, but you could hear everything she was feeling in the moment. I noticed that I too began to voice the end of the process. And strangely enough, my mother-in-law became only kinder to us. On the contrary, I felt her more relaxed towards me. She smiled more often, even laughed. Her movements became freer. We finally began to hug when we met, and she always kissed me so nicely on the cheek. And when we were alone, I even lay on her thighs, and she liked it. She always smelled really nice, by the way. We were watching a TV show with Eva once. She was sitting and I was lying on her legs. She kept stroking my head, which relaxed me a lot. I loved those moments, always wanted to prolong them. And now in some ordinary series, cannot out of the blue, eroticism can begin. That's what happened. We just seemed to be quietly waiting for it to just end, not to close our eyes like little kids. But then something happened that changed everything. My mother-in-law suddenly made a sound that was very clear to me. I also smelled her odor more strongly. I looked at her. She was embarrassed. I understood everything. There could be no doubt about it. It must have been a long time since you've been with anyone. I just want to be as open with her as possible. I've been trying to get close to her for a long time. Well, yeah, she blushed. Are you embarrassed? We should be more embarrassed in front of you. I don't feel comfortable anyway. She seems so simple now. Yes, you are still so young and beautiful. You need it. I got up and sat next to her now, watching her shamefully hiding her eyes. Do you? Of course. And then I started to push her to the limit, making her blush. I think I was doing what a journalist does, turning a person inside out. But I was sure because I had a good purpose. I wanted her to stop being embarrassed by me at all. You have such a beautiful figure and such beautiful breasts. I want to tell you, when you were sleeping, I saw them. Yes, I have seen everything. Well, I want you to stop being embarrassed by me at all. My words made her tense or relaxed, and I liked it so much she was as driven as my Zara. And it seemed I was playing around trying to get to her feelings again, and as soon as she relaxed again, I grabbed her breasts. I think I broke the barrier because she looked at me very seriously, but then exhaled at me with desire. What happened next happened all by itself. I think she was waiting for this moment. And the amount of temperament in her, in this quiet woman, I realized how hard it was for her to listen to all this, our night sighs. Of course, I really wanted to give it all back to her. I'm a young guy living with 2 women now. Yes, I work a lot, and I'm often not where I want to be. Yes, I've got everything in perspective in my career, and I'm still short of money. But right now, I'm much happier than a lot of older men. And don't say it's not true. Everyone wants true love, and I have real love. Did you like this story? Let us know in the comments what you liked. Subscribe to our storytelling podcast. Also, don't forget to like and ring the bell so you don't miss more interesting stories. See you soon.